Hello, my name is Shelby Summers, and here's my audience. And this is my persuasive speech number 3. Did you know that Cherry Creek School District is implementing new start times for all of their schools this upcoming year in order to combat the sleep deprivation that high school students have been experiencing? Out of 25,000 responses of potentially affected community members, 73% of them were in favor for the newly revised start times. The elementary schools will now start at 8 a.m., high schools at 8:20 a.m., and middle schools at 8:50 a.m. This debate on why high schools should have later start times could potentially affect you, one of your friends, or your children. It is important to be informed about why teenage students need to get more sleep so they can have a successful education and a healthy lifestyle. I chose to research and persuade my audience about making all high school start times 8 a.m. or later because I have been affected by this issue and I know what it is like to feel sleep deprived. All 4 years that I attended Cherry Creek High School, my first classes started at 7:10 a.m. This meant that I would have to get up around 5:30 to get ready and make it to school on time. I tried to go to bed early, but sometimes homework and tests prevented me from doing so. I felt sleep deprived, which hindered my education and extracurricular activities. To support my argument, I used an article from Washington Post about a school in Maryland, the article from the Cherry Creek School District website explaining the new implemented changes, as well as an article from National Sleep Foundation explaining the importance of sleep regarding adolescences. By making all high schools across America start no earlier than 8 a.m., students will be able to sleep better with their natural circadian rhythms, learn better and more effectively in the classroom, and perform better during extracurricular activities. Let's begin with where sleep deprivation of teens originates and why teens need to wake up later in the morning. The bodies of adolescents change after puberty, having later melatonin release and a differently wired biological clock. An experiment was conducted on teens that studied the release of melatonin, which is the body's sleep hormone, by Dr. Karskadon from Brown University. She discovered that teens' melatonin was released later in the night, making it hard to fall asleep earlier. Its release also stopped later in the morning, which made it harder for teens to wake up in the morning. Another study that measured sleepiness through the MSLT, or multiple sleep latency test, proved that teens tend to be more alert in the evening hours than during the day. They are most alert between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m., which is normally when teens should have to go to bed in order to wake up early for school. People fighting for later school start times in Maryland have also argued that adolescents are biologically wired for later bedtimes as well as later wake-up times. We have talked about why teens are more susceptible to experiencing sleep deprivation. Now let's consider how this lack of sleep can affect the students' learning. High schoolers will learn more effectively and be more attentive in the classroom if they have later class start times. Students need about 9.25 hours of sleep to function efficiently and have proper growth and development. High schoolers are getting an average of 7 hours of sleep per night or less. Students cannot be expected to pay attention in class when their brains are physically unable to function to their maximum ability. Teenagers spend the majority of their time in the classroom but are unable to use this time efficiently because of their lack of sleep. It has been proven that the lack of sleep lowers the ability to pay attention, retain maximal information, and solve problems effectively. The older the students become, the more academic obligations they begin to have. This includes significantly more homework and more time needed to spend studying for tests. Because of this increase in academic obligations, students go to bed later and therefore need to sleep later. Teens tend to be well rested to fulfill their academic duties throughout the day and in the evening. High school students will also perform better in their extracurricular activities if they get more sleep at night from implementing later class start times. They might also become more involved in activities if students do not feel tired by the end of the school day. If students get more sleep at night by waking up later for school, they will feel more rested and be more inclined to do activities. These activities are very important in building well-rounded students and forming friendships outside of the classroom. With persistent sleep deprivation, bodies of teens will not be energized and fueled for maximum activity. If the body is tired, it cannot physically perform to its best ability. Athletes, artists, musicians, and working students cannot fulfill their after-school activities to the best of their ability without sufficient sleep. Lisa Meltzer spoke to the Board of Education for the Cherry Creek School District and pointed out that maintaining a proper amount of sleep per night is essential for a healthy daytime functioning and for well-being. Sufficient sleep is needed to fuel overall functioning in activities throughout the day. Later high school start times will increase quality of learning and extracurricular activities. Later class times will also align more closely with the natural biological clock of teenagers. High school students will be able to focus better in the classroom, which might even improve grades and test scores. After-school activities could be added into their schedule because they will no longer be constantly tired. Performance will increase in these activities because students will be more energized and well-rested. Natural biology of adolescence is to go to bed later and wake up later, which is why high schoolers suffer so much from sleep deprivation. Lost sleep during the week throws off the entirety of the sleep schedule of teens. By implementing high school start times of 8 a.m. or later will overall improve the lifestyle of teens and make their lives less draining than they already are. It will make the recommended 9 hours of sleep more attainable, and it will improve health and well-being of high school students across America. This is my audience one more time. And thanks for listening.